If the Lord don't help me, if the Lord don't help me, I said I can't sing the song. I can't sing the song. There's a man by the river. There's a man by the river, and he's healing the blind. He's healing.
Welcome to After Rehearsal, Behind the Music. We are here with Link Fisher. Super excited to meet and talk with you and just learn more about your music, your process.
So I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, but I'm not just from Memphis. I'm from a community called Orange Mound, and Orange Mound is the first African American community like in the United States, like ever. So I grew up in that level of like black nationalism and that like black sound, really, like fully embedded in that sound. And then also growing up under like a Pentecostal sound, like a really, really Pentecostal sound. It's the home of the Church of God in Christ. Now I was not Kojic, but I went to like just a regular Pentecostal church. So sometimes I'll be like, my Kojic family, and then sometimes I'll be with my apostolic family. Um, so I grew up really heavily under that sound. I remember the first time I went to a Baptist church, and I didn't know it was a Baptist church. In my mind, I thought all churches were Pentecostal churches.
Yeah.
So I go to a Baptist church, and I was like, it's a little different.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what it was for a while. And I was just like, and then one day I was like, hey, what makes these churches so different? Because when nobody speaking in tongues in here, they had, what they call, I know now it's called Baptist fits or whatever. So I was like, okay, it's just one the same.
Yeah.
But so musically, that was, so like for most my like early childhood, I had never heard anything but gospel. So that ties into the live sound because I only heard live music like every Sunday, every Wednesday, Thursday, when I'm at church all week and I'm used to only hearing live music.
Yeah.
So the first time I was not the first time I was in the car, but one day I was in the car, funny enough, with a man who became one of my head chefs at a restaurant I worked at a little later in life. He was playing like some hip hop or some R&B or whatever. And I was just like, what is this? This ain't talking about Jesus, God. And the sound sonically was so different. But that's how I guess began the journey into, I guess, what you call secular music. But yeah, I mean, I did performing arts middle schools. I did all the theater stuff in high school, all the acting and stuff. But instrumentation wise, I didn't start playing anything until I was in 11th grade.
Wow.
So I didn't start playing keys, and I was begging my whole life, like to play piano. That was my first. I was like, I begged my whole life, but every piano teacher I ran into, they kept saying I was going to pick between like a sport I was doing at the time and music. It was like you can't do both. And my whole life, I've been kind of hell bent on proving that you can.
Right.
You may not be the best at whatever that isolated thing is, but sometimes for me personally, I live by the philosophy. I'd rather, be decent or good at a multitude of things. So when I look back in life, I could say I've done these
I
things
did that. Correct.
versus like saying, there's nothing wrong with like, hey, I'm just a doctor. Like, that's what God called you to be. Do you just, but I've ran away from being labeled as I'm just this, So yeah, I started playing keys in 11th grade. My track coach actually gave me lessons. He didn't think I was serious at first, but like we started having lessons, and then I was just like begging. And then I took theory in high school, so that helped that I was doing both at the same time. And then I came to college. I went to Tennessee State University. Um, and I was a music major. I was a vocal major actually. So everything I was studying was really like more so choral or operatic kind of works. Even in my like piano lessons, everything was like all classical. For at least at the beginning. But my first semester, I came in, I was like, hey, I want to play this many instruments. So what I gotta do? And because I could read, because of my theory, I could read and sight read. They were like, we're gonna let you do it. So I took piano and took piano and voice my first semester, and then the second semester, COVID hit. So I went to college in 2019. COVID hit second semester. Ooh, depressed. They sent me back to Memphis. My God. But my second semester, I was taking three lessons. I was taking piano, voice, and saxophone at that time. So my sax lessons, they were half in person, half online. Then I come back my sophomore year, I'm taking them three lessons. That's still a lot for any like music student in school in general, because I'm taking like full like lessons and they treating all of them like they're my principal instrument. So I'm like, sheesh. Go in second semester of sophomore year, I pick up harp lessons. So now I'm at four. And then the next semester, I just kept picking them up like badges. I had jazz piano plus like my regular classical piano. So by the time I graduated, I had the most like lessons any student had took for any like individual instrument ever. So, but I did that because I would like to give a black composer. But like Leonard Bernstein, I knew I wanted to conduct. So I thought it'd be best if I understood the instrument that I'm trying to direct and write for. So I took all of it just to work with big groups. Hence, like my group now. But I feel it's better to, kind of at least understand the basis of an instrument that you're trying to, use for instrumentation when it comes to a project or a song. Especially like when you're asking like the guitar player or the string instruments for a specific thing, it just helps better to me. Uh, yes. And then so I was on a choir scholarship and all that. My first semester. I get there that first homecoming. I had sang. We did background for like Kirk Franklin. So like I stayed in the gospel world because of that. Because I sang with a gospel group called New Direction Gospel Choir at Tennessee State University. So I sang with them. My first semester, sang background with Kirk at like homecoming. Then we also did the Dove Awards. So we did Dove Awards, and then like a year later, we did Dove Awards again with him. Then again, we did the Dove Awards again with an artist called KB. He's a rap artist. Um, but being in that space, that academic space with all like other musicians in Nashville, so Nashville did play a role being a music city, and it's kind of like up and coming. It was always an opportunity. So, one day I'll be singing like with a professional operatic group or classical group or whatever. And then the next day I'll be conducting with the TSU orchestra. Then the next week I'll be playing in the harp ensemble. Then, the next week I'll be singing like with the regular choir or the gospel choir. And then we did like background for like Jelly Roll and K Michelle at the CMA Awards. Um, then I got the opportunity to go sing at Carnegie Hall. Then Nashville would come back. I do the Skirmahorn, but all of these opportunities because I was just in the right place in the right time. It was all like God had ordained everything. So it's just um, but honestly, even though I did all these things, the execution of everything was not always like perfect. It was great. It was good. It'd be like the standard, it'd be decent and good because I'm doing all these things at the same time. So the truth of that matter is when you're doing all these things, something takes the lesser, because I'm putting all this energy in piano lessons and then vocal lessons and then social life and then family life, something would take the back seat every week or every day. And trying to juggle that without feeling guilt was like a big thing for me. So musical influences, as you can see, is kind of eclectic because I was in all of these things, a music student. So you're getting prepared for recitals and all these different ensembles. So like the sound was always eclectic. Like I'm always working in some different type of ensemble with something. So the thing was trying to figure out how to put that together and make a sound out of that sonically. That was the challenge. So like the first project is called the recital because I did recitals in college, and it's called the Volume One because I looked at our recital series as a series. So like at any point we could drop a recital and it'd be like a random shuffle album. But because I was in college listening to all these different type of sounds, it's not often that I want to listen to like one project full of like just straight this. And I will at times, like I listen to D'Angelo Ambo, so like neo or soul music, or I listen to a straight blues album. But a lot of times I'm in the car, I want a little blues, I want a little gospel, I want a little R&B, I want to, just because what I trained myself to like at this point. So that's how the recital like album came out. So like the next one might be a little more jazz and classical based, but we'll see.
Right.
That's the first project. Yes.
Yeah, when I came across because I listened to the second volume before the first one.
Okay, so you listen to the Nikayla album first.
Yes.
So that's a little personal. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so I was like, "Oh snap!" Especially I loved the opening song, the theme song. I forget the name of it, but
Will you come home again?
yes, and I love just how personal those songs were, the sound and just it for that to have been the first things that I listened to of yours. I was like, okay, I'm hearing this, and I'm hearing like this is mad churchy, it's jazzy, it's heavily blues influenced, and then there was a song in there. I'm like, okay, this sounds like Sugar Daddy, and then like so
Ah,
just like all these different things. I'm like hit, dun, 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 dun. I'm like ah,
yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
hearing the Neil. So I love that it's I love how much. of how much of a melting pot your sound is, because with a lot of artists that have those influences, they're going to lean one direction or another. It's they're making R&B music that sounds heavily churchy and then that's it,
Yeah.
or they're making blues sounds that sound jazzy, or making jazz sounds that sound R&B. So it's like being able to go in and out of those things is like, okay, we hear this song that sounds like you doing an altar call, and then this song that sounds like it's a straight R&B 3/4 ballad, and then this one is, this one's talking about heartbreak and loss, and this one's come back to me, and then this is that, and I'm just like, yo, and then harmonica out, we going straight blues guitar. I was like, oh. So I love the very eclectic nature of how everything goes about, including how the background vocals are arranged, because I listen for all that.
Yeah, so funny that you listened to that one first. So that album, everything we talked about is like current that I'm dealing with now. She came to the one who was on the flyer. She came to the show,
Yeah.
so the album was about her. Um, so
Snap.
so we did that album in 22 days,
Hmm.
top to bottom,
Wow.
top to bottom. We started. The first rehearsal was New Year's. I did 3 rehearsals with the band, 4 rehearsals with the singers, and 1 rehearsal with the horn section, and 1 dress rehearsal. Um, And I saw her working, and so we did the first album October 11th. She left me October 12th because of the first album. D'Angelo dies October 14th.
Yep. And that was,
I'm getting hit left and right. You
man.
see?
Yeah.
So she left October 12th. I started working on the album the 13th. So I wrote the first song, Where's the Love, on the 13th. And then
Yeah.
the day D'Angelo died, I wrote Break It On Down. The Break It On Down song. And it was supposed to just be like a studio EP, but it quickly turned into an album fast. Yeah, and I called the band, and it was like, all right, let's do it. But yeah, every song I never deny it. It's influenced a lot of times from something, and with each project, I think I'm cultivating like my sound with the influence. Is less of like, oh, this, you can feel the influence, but I feel like I'm getting closer and closer to what my natural sound will be. But yeah, like the song you listen to, the Our song, it sound like Sugar Daddy.
Hmm.
100%. 100% Sugar Daddy. 100%. No doubts. The Where's the Love? I got a little that was like a little Marvin Gaye, the ballad
Yep.
one.
Yep.
The original demo was like very, very percussive, like the what's going on kind of percussion.
Yep.
Uh, but yeah, like the gospel song, I don't know if you made it to the end, but like if the Lord don't help me. I
Hmm.
don't know if you ever heard the traditional way we do that song. It's like really, really slow.
Yeah.
It's like one of the line hymns kind of songs. So when I remixed that, everybody was like, "Oh, okay, you touching that." So like, no matter what type of album I do, we always put a gospel song on there.
Because I think that clip was what I saw on the TikTok For You page that
Yeah,
even brought me to your page.
yeah, yeah. That's the one. And people really liked it because it's like nobody has ever like touched it and thought to do it a different way. But yeah, I funk out a regular church song and just insight. Actually, the next song we're gonna touch is "Walk with Me." You know, it's for the it's gonna get funky. Walk with me, Lord. Yeah. But our benediction song that I wrote is called "May the Lord Watch." That's on like every project that we do. We do a different version, but "May the Lord Watch" is kind of like been one of my little big ones. That's the first one I got like on the gospel radio station here in Nashville too. Um, but yeah, the second album is very, very personal for me. You know, the stuff I said in our song, I gave her a ring, she gave it back. All of that is very, adamant to today, like what I'm dealing with right now.
So having taken all those lessons, learning in a conservatory type style, talk about how boxed in that may have had you with your music, and now your journey of really breaking the rules and coming out of the rigidity that you learned learning those instruments.
That was actually a big hurdle for me, like really big, because I came in like free spirit, like that free jazz kind of sound, like but before I even get to that, so my vocal teacher was one of Donna Hathaway students. So, this is a man, he became my godfather. His name is William Krim, very serious. when it comes to like the tradition of everything, like vocal, like when it comes to languages. I mean, so even though like I've been speaking French for a long time, I would be lazy when it comes to like my French songs, singing them. We wouldn't make it past a measure. And, you know, he was one of them like, oh, you slightly off pitch, like even the slightest bit. He's one of them sticklers. So I very intense, very very intense. It's one of them like you almost shaking if you're not prepared to go to your lesson. But coming back to the actual question, it was hard because I came in very free spirit, and then I was a big theory guy. Like I like theory more than I like the music going in. And even throughout college, I still like theory more than I like music. I played a lot of instruments, but looking at scores all day was my thing. Like looking at like how this person put this together, it was my thing. But getting caught up in theory, and like the richness of all of that conservativeness, um, creativity took a backseat very quickly. And I didn't notice it until one day it was just like I couldn't create anything without thinking about the rules. And like they would teach us like that these are the rules and we're gonna teach you how to break them later. But when I was getting taught the rules, I got conformed to the rules quickly, got institutionalized. So like this is, even when it came to orchestrating like string quartets or what, it was like, oh, you follow this. This is what you do. And I struggled with that. That's why it took so long for me to come up with anything on my own. Um, so what I had to do was just actually stop looking at theory for a while. Like I put all my theory books down to the point where like I'm really out of practice. I'm less knowledgeable of like it's still in me, but it'd just be like refreshing. But like I had to just move so far away from it. Like it's just like almost I didn't know. Like I forgot. I literally had to let it go. I set all my classical music down for a while. All my classical like vocal stuff. I set all of it down. And that's the only way that I could get back to creating. But now that I can create again, I went back to like, use those as like practice things. Like I sing through my singing recital to warm up for something or play through a bunch of, piano rap just to get warmed up for a show or something. Learning how to use it in my work now, but I did have to step away from it. Because my sound has been like whatever I'm gonna listen to for a while. Like whatever I'm studying, that's what my sound leans more towards. Yeah, so like first album, like I stopped doing all vocal exercise, which is probably not the best, but I was just trying it out because it was like whatever, I'm paying for this. It's like let me just try. So like that for that album, I was lean vocally, like just trying to find like a distinct sound vocally that I'm used to, like more of like that. If I listen to Anthony Hamilton, I know it's Anthony Hamilton. So his sound is just like a little less cleaner. It's a little more muddy, and I realized if I kept practicing my classical rep, everything I was singing was gonna sound really clean. So I intentionally just stopped singing all of it, and I kind of got lazy vocally, but it was in a pocket of what I was kind of looking for. And I'm still figuring that out. But I'm glad you asked that question because it's like you can get caught in that quick.
Man, and then you get narrowed into the box because they teach it master apprentice model teaching where they're like, this is the way you do it or not at all. And
Yeah.
so it's I found it to be very difficult because like you said, it gives creativity a backseat, and then when you graduate and you go into those spaces, you realize the people that are thriving in those spaces have the creativity which are completely against what they learned.
Yeah.
Or if you're in the educational space or anything else like that, you're like, oh, what works is what you didn't teach me.
Yeah. One thing I said to he was like my jazz piano teacher, and I was like, when I do classical music, it feel like I'm a reader, but I can never write my own book. Um, and he said he understood he stood there because like a lot of times with my classical music, like don't touch anything, like play what they gave you. Ain't no improv on it. Depending on like what kind of piece it is, but it's like play with Bach or Tchaikovsky or Rachmaninoff, play what they gave you straight. And then eventually I get bored with it. I mean, it sounded good, but it was just like this is all right. And then because I was in that setting on multiple fronts, like if I'm doing my saxophone lessons, like the etudes or whatever, it was all play what's on the page. But yeah, but also with that, one thing he did give me, he was like, we do need like to be boxed in a little as creatives. Because if you have too much freedom, then it'd just be almost chaos. It'd just be everywhere. But he was like, the best music is, is kind of created in bondage. Comes from like that revolutionary kind of that place. So like I was watching this Sly Stone documentary. On the first project, we got a song called Power Back. And it's like our like a little revolutionary song or whatever. I was watching the Sly Stone documentary, and I always see that clip of Nina Simone, and I was a big Nina Simone fan, like growing up. Once I left like the gospel space, I was a big Nina Simone guy. The dude of an artist, and I always think about that. I think because like when people go back years later, they only know what went on and what the sound of that time was by the topics in which we talked about. So if we never kind of talk about what's going on, in the world within our music, then that's what they think went on.
Right. Right.
So yeah,
Right.
all of that's kind of big to me.
Talk about the and I like talking to gospel artists about this, or reformed gospel artists. Talk about the transition of exploring music outside of the church, the stigmas associated with that journey, but then also lessons learned along it.
I think because of my predecessors, it was way easier for me than it would probably been for the generation before me. Also because like the state of the church is so discombobulated, and it's harder to be as stern on little minute things like this because of really just the state of the church. But I had people like PJ Morton, that did that for me. I had like Corey Henry who did it for me. So they probably faced more than I would have. And they had people before them, but I think because all of the generations who just keep breaking it, um, to be honest, for me, it made it easier. Like if you look at my shows, a lot of my church members come to my shows. They pack the house out. They donate the most, to be honest. But I'm never talking about anything provocative. If I'm talking about love, I'm talking about love. You say God is love, and then God is love, and then whatever I'm singing about, God is in it, no matter the genre. When I started making music, I remember the conversation that I had with God, and it was clear. It was really, really clear that day. He said, "I gave you a gift, to talk about what you deal with and talk about the things that I'm giving you, but we have enough sad music in the world. So anything you write has to have a level of hope in it because I didn't give you that gift to add to what the rest of the world is doing already." So, I'm talking about things that I'm going through, but sonically it's always going to sound more positive than sometimes the message. So at least you're feeling like it's hope in this. So I could say she left me, she ain't coming back. I wish she come back home. But the music sonically will make you feel a level of hope to it. Yeah. So that was easy. But it's funny that you said that. Like when it comes to orchestrating my shows or projects, it's like a sermon, top to bottom. I mean, not a sermon, but service. It's always like service. I'm thinking about service. Like just being a musician in church, what's the flow of service? So I'm thinking about that sound sonically when it's like, oh, this song is what we're gonna put next. What this is what we're gonna do after this and after this. That is actually what I'm thinking about at all times.
So given that when you are thinking, so having completed those two projects, do you believe that the music that you have released is your best sound yet, or do you feel like you're still finding it?
Oh no, not even close. Because when all artists that I've talked to, like bigger artists that I've talked to, I ask them the same thing. How do you find time to practice when you're creating? Because when you're practicing, when you're creating, like any song that you have, you're gonna keep changing because of whatever you're practicing. So like I have to stop practicing to create sometimes because I keep touching the song and I keep changing it because like whatever I'm touching on, like at the time. Um, so no, I'm actually curious to see what like the next project is gonna sound like because I'm gonna take like whatever God tells me to do, I'm gonna do. But I plan to take like a little hiatus and just practice it, go back to practicing everything, um, just around the board. So I think that sound is probably gonna just sound a little cleaner and a little tighter on like a collective front. But I'm still proud, very, very proud of what we've created because we know what we put into this. The first project, we rehearsed that 6 months. And then the second project, 22 days. So we dropped two projects in 3 months, And I think if you listen to the first one, you'll quickly hear the difference in the second one. Like the sound overall, the band, the background singers, everything sounds different. Like you said, some things you learn. I think we over rehearsed on the first one.
Yeah.
Um,
A lot of
but
people
that
don't
that
realize the people. I think a lot of people, when they take a look and examine preparing for a performance of any type, having been in ensembles and having your own, they don't know the difference between being ready and peaking at a performance and having peaked in rehearsal.
Yeah, we did. We most definitely did. I can be honest, I put it out. Um, I quickly learned from it. I think the only reason we was rehearsing so long because again, I'm doing all this by myself. I mean, I have a team of people now, um, which we have a group. The group is called the Royal Family because everything we need is within the family now. But like looking for a venue, looking for everything, I was doing all on my own. So while I was trying to do all the back end stuff for the first time, I still was rehearsing, like always rehearsing. So we wouldn't have rehearsed that long really if I probably found like a cheaper venue to do it at. Because the biggest thing you see, oh, it's 20 people on stage. How are we gonna get these people to fit up here? That's the biggest problem we find everywhere. We're walking around like Sly Stone, Earth, Wind, and Fire. It's like, what stage you fit? The only place y'all get on is an arena, or a theater or something, an auditorium or something. So even though we this size and the size of artistry that we are, it's that's the hardest thing.
Yeah. Where do you see the group going from these projects in regards to, I mean, I know you're just literally talking about looking for venues and just where tightening and refining your sound. Like, where do you see things going from here as far as your vision for your group?
I feel really, really good. It's like it's a feeling like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and then, like a combination of like exactly what I work for. So it's like none of that imposter kind of thing. And to be 25 and have a team of like 30 some people believe in what you're doing. Now, this is also the raw truth. None of these people have been paid for anything. You know, the deal I made with them, they all own like percentage of royalties on each song. But finding people who like enjoy playing the music that you wrote and doing it, I think it's like one of the best feelings I could have. They got me up. They would get me up, because I'm dealing with a breakup, working on a second project. I can't sleep, I can't eat for weeks, but I got rehearsal to look forward to. And sometimes I'm not even looking forward to it, but I just got people who are showing up for me because they believe in what I've created. So this is like, okay, even when I'm in doubt at days, it's like I must have created something that is worth believing in. If these people, grown folks who got jobs, kids, whatever, can show up to a rehearsal and volunteer their time late at night, I got to get out the bed for this.
That's dope.
Yeah.
What would you
So
say? What would you say are um, some of the greatest highlights of your career so far? So I know you talked about um, performed at Dove Awards, singing backgrounds for Kirk, things like that. Within that, what would you say have been like these have been the highest of highest thus far?
I'm gonna be honest. It's been doing the last two projects. Like I've sung background for like really big artists, and I've been in like really like great spaces because I also work for Live Nation. So I'm in a venue working with a big artist like behind the scenes every week or something, or every other month. Um, but it was like when I was on stage, it felt like home. It really did. And then in the middle of a song, you'll look around and you seeing people so excited to do something that you created. It beat every show and every award show, every artist that I have ever encountered. It did. In the last show, we intentionally did it in a tighter place because we wanted an intimate feeling for the recording. Like the first venue was pretty big. So I mean, even though like it was packed out, when you listen to the audio, it sounds spacious, like the Lauryn Hill kind of MTV sound. It's a little spacious in the audio. But this one, after I left my big like Pentecostal church when I was young, I went to a smaller one. And the thing I learned about smaller places each individual person is an audience member. Sometimes the bigger the place, the bigger the space, it's just one audience. When you doing a show where it's like 50 individual people and you can see everybody, these are 50 individual people judging you right now. And going to a smaller church when I was younger or middle school or whatever forced me to learn how to deal with that because I started in a big church. So it was always one audience. So it was like, I get up there, do my thing. I can't really see everybody, it's whatever. But when I got to that small church, that's when I started getting choked up because I could see every little motion everybody's doing. But yeah, the last two projects, I've never felt anything like it. And I've been on stage my whole life. I never felt anything like it.
Something I always ask folks in this interview is an opportunity to get a chance to really see their humanity outside of their music. What would you say is the lowest point that you can recall in your professional career or just life in general? What was it like there, and what helped you to get out of that low point?
Um, so as many times, but let's just be honest. Growing up in Memphis, I mean, I know people hear and stories about Memphis or whatever. I probably like grew up in like one of the most stereotypical like movies that you would ever seen, like The Wire or Power or something like that. So I grew up, no mother, no father. I grew up basically like one of those stories you adopted within the family. So I grew up with an auntie, single auntie for a long time, and then my uncle came in. But you grow up in a state of abandonment, and then everybody's letting you down because the people who had you gave up ownership to you. So now you don't feel you grow up without being nurtured. You grow up without, a level of guidance from a like a father figure. But thank God, he sent me an uncle, was also my pastor. So he came when I was like in fifth grade or whatever. But you feel it, you have nobody, you have nothing. And then you also eventually it turns into like a very violent environment. So trying not to get caught up in that. So you abandon, you're in violence, but you're trying to stay focused. So that's like the journey of like the beginning of my life. Then you go to college. You thank God that you survived long enough to live to go to college. Then COVID hit. Now you're in another state of depression. You've been depressed your whole life. You finally defeated because you made it out of one place you felt that you couldn't make it out of. Now you back in because of COVID. Now this is another truth. So when I go to college, I know that I'm moving to France. I've been taking French for a long time. I know I'm going to study at some conservatory in Paris or whatever, just the south of France, Lyon, wherever. Um, my grandfather, Link Senior, the truth. He gets a illness called stiff man syndrome. So his body begins to lock up. But then in the middle of him like finally locking up, the truth comes out that he was cheating on my grandmother. So now she leaves, and he was kind of like a cheap kind of guy. So like he had the cheapest insurance. Like you see the insurance on TV, like the $2.99 a month. He taking it. Life insurance probably $2.99. He was that type of guy. So when he got sick, he had nothing that covered him really. But this is my senior year, so I'm traveling to France and stuff like that. So I'm checking out where I'm going. All the funding for me to go live in France, what I've been working for 6 years now, is gone. So when I graduate, me being in the States was like never a part of the plan. So the only thing that could help me focus, I literally just started working on music because it's like I had nothing else. Like I couldn't get no jobs. I couldn't like I was so graduating college was supposed to be like a highlight of life. It was probably one of the worst, felt like one of the worst things that happened because everything I had planned for was gone. I spent all this money to go over there to look at schools, to stay for a while. French teachers been helping me find housing. It's just a lot gone because another man's sin, you know. Um, so graduating college was actually like bad. So I was looking for jobs in the music business. I ended up getting hired at Live Nation like 7 months later, but that wasn't full time, that was seasonal. But I got a girlfriend. Now we have a one bedroom studio. Now we have dogs, and now all the stresses of life are hitting me because now I gotta play to survive. So now I'm not even enjoying playing because I gotta do this. And I gotta play at church because if I miss a check, I'm missing a bill. And that took the enjoyment of playing in church because I never wanted to feel like I had to treat church like it was a gig. Like I gotta do this or I gotta play at 3, 4 services to make up. Because every month I'm already at a deficit of the bills. So graduating the whole period from graduating college into like a year and a half, it was extremely terrible. Like one of the worst times of my life. And that's why she left because she stuck with me through all of that. And then um I did all the things I did. She stuck with me through all of that. So everybody else is clapping, she paid the price of me creating all the music. And I didn't touch the music for like a year, because I have a job. So I'm like, what I'm saying? How do I have time to practice if I can't find a job? You know, she still want to go on dates. She still want to go on trips because when she met me, I was working in restaurants. So I was like a top line chef in restaurants. I've been working in restaurants for 10 years. And when she met me, uh, I had just been offered a position. I was gonna make like $30 an hour as like as assistant chef or something, a sous chef or whatever. And the Lord told me to like quit. So she met me at like the highs of me financially, but then as soon as I get with her, I quit my job. So downhill from there, being in a relationship ain't free. I mean, it's the truth. So, um, yeah, and the first project, yeah, it put a strain on us real bad because I kept telling myself I had to pick between her and the music when she never made me choose. But it was just like a stereo thing. It had been indoctrinated, like put into me, like that you got to pick between your personal life and the music. I feel like I heard that all my life, and I fell into that somehow. And she got put on the back burner like really, really bad. And then the day of the show, you watch the clip at the end of the show. Everybody, I'm doing my thank yous. It's like the whole audience is screaming at me to thank her. But we had got into it the night before, so I'm letting emotionalism take over. So all I say, oh yeah, Michaela, thank you. That's it. That was like the cherry on top. That was it. She was like, oh, you want? I done sat through all this disrespect, all this feeling alone, and then that's what you say to me. Yeah, that's the truth. I gotta be honest.
No, that's real. That's
I tell the
real.
truth so somebody else you don't make the same mistake I did. Yeah. The night before the show, she called about something random. We get into it. So the day of the show, I barely have a voice because I've been up all night. People canceling on me. My mind is everywhere because this is my first big production that I fully funded by myself and done everything by myself. Because I've done productions where I've been in charge or whatever in leadership, but that was my first one that I also had to back financially.
Right.
So I got a lot of things going on in my mind, and yeah, at the end of the show, I do that whole show, and all I said was thank you, just like that. She was expecting me to propose or something, and packed house. And, and it's like, oh, I had people in the audience have to scream my name for you to say thank you to me. Yeah, that's what she felt. So hence comes the second album named after her. It's like my Charlene, but I just did a whole album about Charlene instead.
So then what happened? What happened then when she came back? Came back when you were doing this second album.
You know, we oof. Well, I mean, we're still here. I'm in it right now. So like, it ain't like she back. It's more of like if I come back, how I know you ain't gonna hurt me like you did the first time. And for me, it's a story of me saying, well, I hate that you just got me in that season of life that, I got 20 some years of life that I've never been that person, but I let all the stresses of everything that could go wrong in life was going wrong, and you got me in that chapter. But it wasn't all bad because that's why you was around, 'Cause you could see the light, but it was just like it was so dark so many days. Uh, and you trying to figure out how many people to her, everybody, she look at me like I might be a hypocrite or two-faced, or because it's like everybody else look at you like this, but I see you behind the scenes. But I'm trying to explain like, oh, that was just me like doing that. See, like then we had a one-bedroom studio. It's like nowhere for me to run to. And then we got two dogs, two big dogs. So it's like I'm no job. I can't afford. I'm surviving for a year and a half again, but now I'm really surviving. Like It's either the dogs eat and she eat or I eat. It's that type of thing. So, I'm still in it now. Still fighting for it now.
Heard. Do you find yourself uh do you find it to be easier to write the music in regards to your process of writing? Write the music when you're going through it or after you overcome it in general, not necessarily regarding relationships, but in general.
A lot of time just in it. Uh, when I early on when I was trying to write and stuff like that, I would have to wait till afterwards because like I just couldn't formulate how. Yeah, but now in it. But funny enough, it's times where like I have some great things to say when I'm in it, going through the thick of it, and God be like, "Don't write that down. Don't put that out."
That's
It'll be.
valid.
I hear him just like he's like, "You want to write that now because that's what you feel now." But I don't
Hey,
want you
hey,
singing this forever.
right. Because then that's not what it's always going to be.
Yeah, yeah. So it's the duality of dealing with that. Because like I have a fire song in my heart. It'll be there. I can hear it clear as day. I'll be in the shower about to run down to, the organ or the piano or whatever. He'd be like, don't do that. But yeah, I write it right in the thick of it. And I thank God that I've always been vulnerable in my music. So like I never had to deal with trying to now be vulnerable. Because I only write songs that are like a reflections of real life for me. Like I only tell real stories. Every song I'm telling a real story. Every last one of them. So like I never had to deal with that. So like when people, because I don't feel like I'm selling anything when it comes to music. I feel like I'm just sharing a story. So a lot of times, even though I'm in Music City and I got a lot of songwriter friends, like they write songs. I'm never trying to write a song. I'm really just trying to tell a story, and I'm just adding background music to it. Really, a lot of feel like I'm just talking. Like I'm never trying, even though I know how to formulate a song top to bottom. I know I put the bridge chords here, A, B, whatever. I'm literally just talking. Yeah, I'm not. I literally throw all of that again. The things I was learning, conservatory or whatever. I just throw it away.
Yeah.
So I listen to my favorite people. That's what I hear.
So let's say you write a song right now. Describe your process and what that is like from the incubus of thoughts to all right, I'm gonna bring it to the group.
So, oh, that's great. That's great because actually, that's how I can push out music just a little bit faster because I trust my musicians. So I hear melody, or whatever. I go sit at the piano, whatever instrument I hear it on, and I write the shell of a song. Like I give them the foundations. Like I come up with maybe some licks and lines, but I let my musicians play. I do. I trust them that much. Like I will give them what I'm feeling a lot of times, and sometimes I will give them like this is the lick. This is what I want us to play. But a lot of times I just tell them play because you a guitarist, or you know what I'm saying, or you're a bass player. Like I can play those instruments, but God gave you that gift, so I can only take it as far as I can hear it. But let me not limit your gift because of my limitations. So I think for me, like putting out music, like we could put out albums once a month, really, but just because I trust them and I tell them, I let them play, and they don't feel boxed in with me, and they feel like a level of possession when it comes to the music. Because like I did that, they did that. Like I create the song. Hey guys, like these are the chords. Let's just play. And this is the feeling. I tell them let's go for the feeling because like when I'm sitting on organ, a lot of times, like you just padding for a long time. It's less of like whatever chords you're playing. It's like what kind of feeling am I trying to put in the sanctuary at the time. So a lot of times I'm like, hey, I'm going for this feeling. Now I can get very specific or pedantic about what I'm asking for, but I try to let them discover it themselves first.
I like that because then it gives them the freedom and the creativity and not to box them in the same way the conservatory versus outside. I love that.
Yeah, because I know how that feels.
Valid. Who would you say are dream collaborators that you desire for future projects or even just to be on their projects?
My number one, he's gone. Was D'Angelo, my number one
Oh,
instrument.
man, that was mine too.
Number one. Just because it's everything about it. It's soul music. I believe you can do whatever genre you want to do, but it's a special gift when you know how to put soul in everything you do. But Outside of him, I love to have Corey. I love to do something with Corey Henry. I
Yeah.
love Corey Henry. You know, like you look at the project, if you just look at it, just me sitting on organ, playing and singing, similar to his style with him and the what is it, Funkapolics? I mean, no, what's the name of his group?
Funk Apostles.
Funk Apostles. That's what it is. Yeah, very. I take much after that. I'm gonna put PJ Morton on there because these pillars are people who did did what I'm doing and set the pathway. That's fine. Let me get you some female artists in there. Um, I'm not gonna say her. I want to be honest. Funny enough, if I can get two people on a song, I'd love to do a song with Rochelle Farrell and Al Jarreau. I don't know what that sound like, but it's just I feel like that's just very free. We just gonna sit around and just be free. Oh my God, he was just in town. Um, I don't know, I really just like making music like with people I know. I never really dreamed of like doing collabs because like in school, like they always tell like these are the people that you're gonna grow with. These are the people like that you're gonna win with. Like the people that you look up to, they already have their people. So like I literally like just enjoying doing stuff like with local people. Like I probably would get more out of like making a song with you than I would like some big celebrity. Yeah, I don't ever sit up like, dang, I can't wait to get a song with this person. Like, oh, Beyonce get on the song, or Stevie can come play a little harmonica for me. I got to put a harmonica on it. Stevie, come on, I love doing a little Stevie something. But yeah, I know I enjoy it, just making music with the people around me. Because I think really they're the level, and Anthony Hamilton. Let me put that out there. Anthony, Cole or Kendrick, because a lot of my stuff have like a hip hop sound to it. But I tell everybody like I make music for like everyday people, like everyday workers, and I feel like they're at the level where they are songwriters. I'm writing music for somebody who's working in a factory or Waffle House or Costco's or the gas station, to get you through a shift. That's where I'm at. You know, I think they're more established, so like they're going for a certain standard of sound where I'm not there yet. And I don't even know if I'm trying to achieve that because I think that just gives me a level of freedom to like you never know what the sound is going to sound like when you listen to it, but it's coming from my soul. So yeah, because some of my favorite artists, I hear them getting caught in their sound and like they don't grow. Like every project begins to sound the same. So I'm trying to figure out how to navigate that now because I hear it all the time. I'm just be honest. Even some of my favorite musicians, like it's like it doesn't go anywhere. It's just like a part two or part three of the album you dropped 4, 5, 6 years ago.
And I think that's why it was important that PJ linked with Daryl
Yeah,
because he was starting to fall into that.
yeah, and
He even said that in the Grammy acceptance speech. He said, "I came across Daryl and we made this project at a time where I had lost inspiration."
No, I wanted to give the time to him, but I'm just so grateful, man. He took me at a time where I was uninspired, really, and wanted to reignite that. And Daryl he's one of the best in the world at this.
yeah, and I can, and so I was here when they did the show in Nashville live, and someone even said it, even though they feel like he stepped aside a little bit because by putting Dale on, but he was like, PJ really could have just did these songs himself, and it still would have sounded like very similar, you know. So I wonder, what would that? I think because I collaborate with musicians, like even though he played keys, you can hear it's still his sound on the record. So, and I think I run from that by letting other like piano players play it on the record a lot of time. Cause like when I play it, like it's most definitely my sound on every like when I like if I ever do like just a piano with like three singers or whatever, like that type of little show, is you gonna hear me throughout it. But like when I let other musicians play, I think it rotates the sound to where it doesn't sound the same sonically. So I'm trying that method out right now by just rotating, some musicians like to keep changing the sound on projects. You know, right now it's just me I'm on organ on every album right now, at least, but like that's helping. I think so.
Hey, let me know if you ever need, if you ever just want to be up front. I'll hop on the organ for you, bro.
Listen, I don't be wanting to play. That's a fun fact.
I
Even though
got,
I play all this stuff, I
I
don't
got
want to
you.
play. And so the first album, organ player canceled on me. Second album,
Dang.
second album, 5 minutes before the recording, organist canceled on me. So I keep being on organ only because organists keep canceling on me.
We got a bad rep for that, bro. Overbooking.
Yeah, like, and so like I deal with a lot of times. So this is a fun fact. I really don't like dealing with musicians. I don't. I don't like musicians, because a lot of times I run into, especially here, the more talent they have, the professionalism goes away.
Correct.
'Cause I think people are teaching like skills and talents and gifts, like they are cultivating those things, but nobody is teaching people how to be professional. You
Correct.
know, I'm an extreme conversationalist. If you let me know what's going on, I can figure out something out of that. Like the second show, my organist, he counseled on every rehearsal. And I was like, all right, cool. I was like, just make the dress rehearsal. He counseled on dress rehearsal. So I called another guy. I was like, hey, can you swap him out because I don't feel confident because he didn't cancel on every. He was like, all right, I got you. He didn't cancel on you every time. I got you. I called him. I was like, hey, you come to sound check? He was like, yeah, I'll be there now. Sound check come. He don't come. I call him up to 5 minutes before the show. No answer. Nikayla, who's the album about, she called him. He said, hey, text me. He won't even do that to me. She texts him. She was like, hey, Link said you coming to the show. Oh, my son had a basketball injury. If you would have told me at the time, when I called you all them times
So
before,
now you frantic because now you're trying to make something happen when you weren't even planning on, bro.
because my sound is like I use organ in everything, even if it's
Yeah,
subtle. Like I think it just brings another level of what I'm
absolutely,
looking for. Like it's
absolutely.
everything.
It's got to be there.
So now I'm missing that. It's whatever. But I deal with that a lot with musicians. That's why I don't like dealing with musicians. And that's why, I built like a family because like these are people like I trust. Like trust, like, um, but the two organs I tried to get, they weren't a part of the family yet. So, it is what it is.
Man,
So
that's
I'll be
crazy.
on
That's
organ
crazy
again.
word.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the moment we hit the road, I most definitely will give you a call. We got some stuff. We got some people
Yeah,
looking at us. Because I don't be wanting to play.
yeah. Because I'm based out of Dallas, Texas now, so I
Okay.
got you. That's a
Yeah.
quick flight.
Yeah, like this is, I'm relatively still young in this,
Hmm.
in my artistry, I've only been doing this like a year. If that.
Having only done this a year and had two great projects out, that you produced, wrote, and put and arranged to put all together yourself within 3 months of each other. I think that's more than what a lot of people can say they've done in 5, 10 years.
Yeah, I only like hearing original music. Like even if I come on one of your shows, like I like to hear what God gave you. Like if I wanted to hear a cover, I listen to you do it online. Maybe at a show like you do one, two here, but I don't want to come pay $50 or $80 for a ticket of your show and I hear only covers because I really want to hear what God gave you. That's just where I'm at now. Let me just put it because I might change one day, but I love hearing just like original songs because it's like, oh my God, you came up with that. Like I know what Stevie did on Isn't She Lovely? I know what PJ did when we first began. But like that's what you came up with. Okay. That motivates me because when I listen to their record, that's what God gave them. So that's what motivated us to, be where we at. So
I think the beautiful thing is knowing that you're literally just getting started on this journey, and that's where I love to meet artists at, and just be able to collaborate and do everything that I can to help them win because them winning is me winning. So
yeah, I really appreciate it. Even you were reaching out because like, well, you the only person to know outside like the family, we're going for three this year.
yes, sir.
We're going for three, and I'm saying I look at so many artists, I watch all their documentaries and the older they get, they was like, yeah, I had all these songs and I should have just put them out when I had them. And you can feel like it's a level oversaturated because I feel like people put out a whole lot of music, especially like of the quality that I don't think it should be at. But I don't think they put the hours. in the craft in it either. So I think it's really that because like if your favorite artist put a bunch of projects out back to back, you'd probably be grateful because they put hours into the craft. We've put like so many hours into what we're doing. But I'm putting it out because it's what God gave me. One day I look back and like at least you have the story of my life like in the music right there in the time. Um, I just don't want to be one of the people like, dang, I should have did it when I should have did it. I should have just put it out. Not because it would have sold big, but because it would have helped somebody. Music helped me like get through life. So like that's what I'm thinking about when I'm writing. Like who, this song may keep somebody going another week. This might help somebody rekindle a relationship or something. Like that's what I'm always thinking about. So it goes beyond like, oh, man, let's put out a good song. It's never that.
It's even though you're making music that is outside of the realms of the traditional church,
Yeah.
you're making music that is impactful because you're still given the gift in order for your sound to make a difference in someone's life.
Yeah. Because I'm still a man in music. You like I'm still in service every Sunday. I'm still at choir rehearsal every Wednesday with the or work with the kids on this day, and then I direct the young adult choir. So like I'm always in that frame. Like the theme song, it sounds like I'm just saying something to an intimate partner, like "Will you come back home again? I hurt you." But I say at the end of the song, like I'm talking about friends, family, like estranged relationships, like anybody, because we can let pride get in the way of anything. You know, home does not always have to be an intimate thing. You know, you could be a father or mother, like that y'all had words and now y'all gone. So that's where I'm at all times. This is very very serious to me. Soul and salvation, like when people's souls and salvation is like very serious to me. Because again, I grew up in that. So like when you come to service, this is a very serious thing. This ain't us just like singing a couple songs and we go home. The worship we have today in service could keep you going another week. You see? So like I don't play with that because that could be the difference between life and death. So again, I approach my music like that because that's what I was trained under. Don't play with this because, somebody may hear this and this may impact them positively or negatively. So watch what you're saying and what you're doing.
Watch what you're saying and what you're doing.
Yeah.
Very good.
So that's where that comes
Man,
from.
I love that. We definitely. I'm gonna send you my information. We definitely gonna get connected, and I got you on project number 3. You let me know when it is. I'll fly in. I got you on organ.
Thank you. Yeah, we're
Look,
gonna, we
I'll
gonna
make
take,
rehearsal and everything.
listen, we're gonna take care of you. We're gonna get you
And I'm looking forward to hearing that that volume 2 uh,
oh yeah,
when
I
you
don't
should
even know
up
what
with it.
this gonna sound like. Oh, this is what we ask everybody at the end of every show. Like, so you don't listen to? Did you listen to the first one? Or you listen to the second one only?
Both.
So, what was your like favorite of both projects? Like, if you had to pick one.
So the first one was I really liked "Give Me a Chance" and "Running."
Okay.
The second one I liked the "Come Home" song, and then really like the first 5 because there was something about because I'm listening. I'm like, oh, I like that one. Oh, and I like that one too. Like I was like, I don't have favorites. So the "Come
Yeah.
Home" song, and then there was like an interlude. I really liked that one. The one where the
Okay.
guy played the harmonica.
Oh
There's
yeah. The center back. It was like
there's
a
one of them that you had a it was like a 3/4 type feel, and you had that loud. It to me, the song gave me the feeling of like "Love" by Keisha Cole, as far as chord progression. But you had
ah
like a long interlude before you finished up the
yeah
chorus.
yeah. That's the words of love, and then the
Yeah,
reprise.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I liked those are the ones I liked.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. We try to see.
And
Yeah.
of course, the churchy one on back end because
Oh yeah.
y'all
Yeah.
smacked
Everybody.
that one.
Yeah.
Y'all smacked that one.
Yeah, I meant to say collab wise. If I can get Lisa knows on something, if I can get what Lisa knows, we're gonna
Hmm.
quartet something down. I can't wait to rock.
Man, I appreciate your time, and we got information. We'll definitely be chatting it up, bro.
You got you. Okay, I
So,
appreciate you having me on, my girl. You have a good day, all right?
hey, you too. You take care, brother.